So the last time I did this was in 2019, I think, middle of the year. And at the time I did top 60 across 3 videos. Broke it up into 20 card lots. This time I'm going to do top 120. I'm going to do 3 videos featuring 40 cards. And so starting off with card number 120 in the collection. I mean, this could have been a couple of different ones, but this is the one I pulled. The Bryce Harper from 2012 Topps Archives on-card auto. Maybe my favorite Bryce Harper, I guess, technically rookie card. But he does have a 2011, like an SSP that I would like to get. I've gone after it in the past on occasion. Unsuccessfully. It's not inexpensive and it's not easy to find. I want to say PSA 9s of that card. Well, at the time, we're trending around $1,000 or so, and this was even before the big run-up in the last couple of years. So maybe eventually I'd like to add that if it doesn't get too crazy. But we're going to start off with Bryce Harper at 120. And this is the only Mickey Mantle autograph I own, period. I wanted an on-card auto. I wanted it PSA DNA. And I wanted it on a 1953 Topps card. I mean, not the original. I was fine with the Archives reprint from 1991. And it looks like the signature is holding up well. You know, I'm always concerned about over time, any degradation of the ink, especially when there's a glossy surface like this card has. I don't know too much about the chemical properties or interactions of those, but still looks good. And this one's checking in at number 119. Here's a great card. You know, hard to find these Topps gold from the 2000s. Some just really difficult to get in high grade. Here's a Scherzer PSA 9 from 2008 Topps updated highlights. Part of that group of ace elite pitchers from that decade includes Kershaw and Verlander. And all 3 of these guys are going to the Hall of Fame. So hopefully a good year for Max Scherzer this year. And, you know, I want to say I paid around about $125 for this card. By the way, what I have here, generally, I don't have very many, I guess, rare cards per se. A lot of these you could just find on eBay any given day of the week. But you know, maybe some of the grades might be elusive. But for the most part, these are all pretty common. And here's a 60 Topps Jim Cott rookie. I purchased this before his induction into Hall of Fame because I had a hunch he was going in, and I did want to own the card, but I wanted to own it after or before that happened for obvious reasons. So this one wasn't. This was $180. That much I do remember, and I want to say it was bought a couple years ago. Whenever it had to be like probably 2019. Maybe 2020 early on, because I think the Ultramodern stuff was what took off in 2020, and then the vintage followed suit at some point not long after. And the vast majority of these cards you're going to see were purchased long before the crazy, insane run-ups that occurred in the last couple of years. The first of many Mickey Mantle cards you'll see. Here's a 68 Topps, just PSA 7. When I was putting together, you know, it was, 2004, 5, I forget what year it was, but I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build this basic run. And I thought, okay, well, let's target PSA 7 grade for all of the 60s and go back as far as I could into the 50s that I could afford. In some cases, I broke from that rule. I have a couple of 6.5s from the 60s sprinkled in here because they look really good. But that was my plan. That, you know, at the time, that's what my, I guess, financial situation was. You know, those were the grades I could afford. I never thought I would own the rookie card, I shouldn't say rookie. Well, the rookie card and even the 52 Topps for that matter. Here's a Maris rookie, purchased from GA Card World at a time when $360 was the going rate, because that's what I paid for this. Nicely centered. Maris. This card is, you know, I don't think it belongs here, but I have no choice but to put it here because the only comp that I have is from April of this year, and it was for $899. Now, you never see this card, right? So, like I said, the last comp is from, 9 months ago or whatever. It's the Tiffany version of the 89 Topps traded Nolan Ryan. And would it be worth $900 today? I don't know. is it so rare that, you know, these registry fanatics will pay whatever it takes to get a card like this? Maybe. I don't know. But, you know, this was part of a necessary purchase for my Topps Nolan Ryan collection. And I think I mentioned in my last video that when you got to like the late 80s and early 90s, those cards were so, you know, dime a dozen, dirt cheap. So when I got to this particular part of his career, I would target the Tiffany version or the gold version from Topps, whatever was available. And that's kind of how I approach building the Topps run. Because this is the regular Topps traded Ryan. There's like a bazillion of them out there. But the Tiffany, not so much so, and that's why I went with that one. Another Mantle here from 67. PSA 7. Here's a real nice maze. Packed fresh looking PSA 8. This one set me back about, I think, just under $300. I don't know how I could recall all this random information, but I can sometimes. Here's a 60 Topps Bob Clemente 7.5. You know, a card that I owned as a kid, then got fleeced out of it during some bad trades I made in high school. And it wasn't this nice condition. It might have been a 5. You know, it was raw. But I always wanted to get the card back in my collection and went for a somewhat economical 7.5. And yeah, it looks really nice. So there you go for that, Bob Clemente. And so I guess that brings us to what, 110, right? Yeah, I can't count. You know, I lose track very easily when I'm doing this. So here's a 66 Topps Rose PSA 8. You know, I've toyed with the idea of going after his run, like Nolan Ryan. He's got a ton of cards. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll go after the 60s and 70s only. And then I look and it's like, wow, that 71 is floating out there, and that's a tough one to get. I have his rookie card. I have some of the harder ones for sure, but you know, that 71 and like an 8 is just like, that's a tough pill to swallow. A lot of those 71s are tough. So Pete Rose, 1966 Topps. And up next is another Mantle 6.5. And again, where I deviated from my original plan of going with 7s only, I thought this was a really nice 6.5. You know, the centering is pretty good. I mean, the left, right, you see a little more white on the left than on the right-hand side. But this was another $300-ish card at the time of purchase. I know a lot of people like his 71, but I kind of like this one as his best-looking card, Munson. And yeah, I don't know. I just like it. And of course, the traditional back being off-centered. I don't know how the back impacts the grade overall. I'm not familiar enough with PSA grading, but you know, is this what prevents it from this being a 10? Because this card looks damn near perfect to me in the slab. 73 Topps Thurman Munson, bought a long time ago for under $100. I say a long time ago because I've been in my house now for 8-9 years, and I definitely this was bought in my previous residence, and that was a long time ago. So what are we at? We're at 107, I guess. 106, I don't know. Don Mattingly, just the base Topps rookie. PSA 10. Would love to have the Tiffany, but I guess I'm not as hardcore a Mattingly collector as you know, as some people might be, that they'd want to have the very best. I would love it. Just like it's a $4,000 card, so I'm satisfied with this one. You know, my tune may change on that, but hell, I don't even have an 84 Donruss Mattingly that's graded yet. So here's the base Topps. Just a nice looking card. Bought from 4 Sharp for $250. Whenever that was a good price for that card. And what's this, 106? 106? 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, 106. Frank Robinson rookie in a 6.5. At first glance, it looks dead centered maybe, but not so. Again, a little more white on the left than on the right for Frank Robinson here from 1957 Topps. Garrett Cole, Topps Chrome Gold Refractor. And I purchased this during the offseason when I think it was expected he would join the Yankees from ComC for around $170. And then, of course, he joined the team. And he's so far so good. I mean, got a lot of years left in that contract, but one of the few elite pitchers right now in Major League Baseball. And I think I mentioned this in my last video. You got Garrett Cole. Of course, you got Kershaw, Verlander, and Scherzer, but they're near the end of their careers. And so the next round of elite pitchers, I guess, are going to be him and DeGrom. And I don't know who else you throw in the mix there. I think I mentioned John Flaherty, but he's kind of hurt. And then even who are the next group of guys? Pitching is so to stay and perform at a high level for many, many years consistently is incredibly difficult when you're a pitcher. So very few do it. But he's one of them that seems to be on track, provided he stays healthy like anyone else, you know. Serena Williams, rookie card from Sports Illustrated for kids. And, you know, not licensed, I guess, and I guess somewhat of a novelty card, but certainly does have some hobby credibility based on what people pay for this particular card. And, you know, it is her first card. The official first release was from Net Pro, I think. Massively overproduced set. It's not very attractive. But here's a nice 8.5 SGC grade. Serena Williams, the greatest female tennis player of all time, perhaps. And coming in at card number 103 is just a nice random Bob Clemente from 67 Topps. A nice high grade PSA 8. I forget what I paid for this card. Maybe it was like under $400 a few years ago. All right, so on the subject of elite pitchers, here is the Verlander Gold, PSA 9. Bought this for about $1.25. At the same time I purchased this, there was also a PSA 10 version of the same card that I was kind of staring at probably a little too long because it got snapped up for $675. That I remember. Still sticks with me. But I ended up with a 9. It's a nice 9, nicely centered for sure. And I think there's a little white down there. I don't know. But again, tough. You know, Topps Gold cards this year. And then 2001 in particular might be the toughest Topps Gold cards to get in high grade. So here's card number 101, just a random 1957 Topps Hank Aaron, 6.5. One of my biggest hobby regrets of the last few years is, you know, I wanted the Mooley Mays card also from this set. And there was a dead centered, gleaming white border 57 Topps Mays on eBay for the longest time for like, and the guy couldn't sell it. He kept lowering the price. Finally, it got to like $1,400. And I was like, oh, and then it got snapped up, and that was that, and see you later. But it was gorgeous. I think that same card now would probably sell for, you know, $4-ish, I would say. Just really nice. As people start to appreciate, you know, more and more of the older stuff that you just don't see as much, especially in the higher grades, that starts to carry a premium. And those are the type of cards that have somewhat weathered this storm over the last couple of years of rising and falling prices. Vintages seem to have held steady, most of it anyway, the hard-to-find stuff. Here's card number 100. It's the first of a few T206 cards I have. I don't have a very big collection of T206. I certainly do like these. The only other T206 I actively, I guess, pursued was the bat off shoulder Ty Cobb card, which is, you know, that's kind of gone up a fair amount over the last couple of years. And I don't know if I'll ever own that, but that was definitely one. I love the look of that card. I have the bat on shoulder, but the bat off is just a whole other level of like just colors and presentation. So maybe someday. Here's a rose. 64 Topps. This is really hard to find centered. If you look around, a lot of these are going to be off-centered. And mine is, I don't know, it's about as good as it's going to get. 6.5 grade. And I remember paying $299 for this one, whatever year that was. Yeah, really sharp looking card. Really pleased with that one. There was a time when I went off on this little tangent where, if a player had like a really ridiculously priced rookie card in PSA 10, why not look at the second year card in the PSA 10? So this is one of a few that I did that with, and I made a video about it. Ozzie Smith from 80 Tops. This was like $269 when I bought it. And I had this one, I think I did 85 Don Russ Mattingly. And I forget who else, but I made a video about second year 10s. I think 83 Tops Ripken, stuff like that. 81 Tops Henderson. So here's the nice Ozzie Smith from 1980 Tops. Nolan Ryan, one of the many Nolan Ryans that make an appearance here in this top 120 countdown from 1969 Tops. And another card that I got fleeced out of, there's one dude in high school that, he collected cards and I collected cards. And at the time, it seemed like good trades. In hindsight, they were terrible trades. And this is one of them I let go. It was raw, and it wasn't this high of a grade, but I wanted to get it back in my collection. I didn't like that 60 Tops Clemente, so I went for the 7.5. And I don't know, this was not expensive either. Maybe $200-ish. Less than 200, whatever that was. Yeah, all starts to blend together. Here's a Peyton rookie. Centering isn't the great. It's an 8. I mean, it has 8 centering. This was $400. And this is one of many cards that went to the moon and back a couple years ago. And this might be the most egregious. I should have sold this card, but I wonder how many of those ridiculously priced cards that sold did they actually get paid for? And then if they got paid for, how many of them, like 2-3 months later, were filed as a return or, SNAD, So at one point, this Shaquille O'Neal card was like $8,000, which is ludicrous. It's the Topps Gold. I'm into it for like $80, just FYI. So I think now it sits around 1,000 something. 11, I don't know. But this one is the hell number are we at here? Like 90 something, I don't know, 95. I don't know. Yeah, so the Topps Gold Shaquille O'Neal, which it's just insane. I made a video about that, like right at the height of that market madness. I made a video with basketball cards, and I actually do quote, I think, current eBay comps. And I even made a point to say, at some point we're going to look back at this video and be like, what? And that's kind of where we are now, I think, the way prices have come back to earth. Schmidt rookie, nice copy here. $375 or so when I got it. Underappreciated. I mean, I don't know. Greatest third baseman of all time, arguably. Mike Schmidt rookie. Here's a card. This is sort of like symbolic of that particular COVID era. This 2008 Topps Chrome. This card actually sat. So what is this? This is like 90 something, right? So this card, I think, one time was a top 20 card for me. This Kobe Bryant, but that features LeBron James. And it's just the base chrome. And part of my little Kobe Chrome project that I started many years ago to acquire just as base chrome card from 96 to 09, right? And this is one of the ones I needed. And I certainly didn't pay a lot for this card at the time. And then it went to the moon and back, like a lot of others. Here's Mantle 69 Topps, last Mantle card. And the centering isn't ideal. I just remember for the longest time looking for a centered copy of this card. And it might have been one of the last within reason cards economically I can get, short of the Bowman and the Topps from early 1950s. And this was $275 at the time. I remember just saying, screw it. And I pulled the trigger on this just to get the card, because every single one I was looking at just looked like this or worse. And this might have been at the time the best of the worst. And I went ahead and grabbed that, which is why I did that. So I think we're at number 91. 91 is this Leaf. PSA 2. Again, bought a long time ago. Bought it for $475. This would have been during the early 2000s. Late 2000, like second part of that decade. Let's put it that way. I think. I have to go back to the Darth Fungus video archive to see when I actually picked that up, because that video is still there. I may have even released it as part of the onto this channel. I don't know. Another Mantle here. Ugly. This is my first ever PSA graded card purchased. $240, I think. Man, look at that centering. Awful. I would never buy this card today. I didn't even notice how bad the centering was. All I looked at was that it was a 7. And honestly, it took a while to realize how shit-tastic the centering was on this card. I'm like, oh man, why did I buy this? This diamond sort of tilt to it. Tilt. 66 Topps Mantle. Future Hall of Famer, Miguel Cabrera, Topps Chrome traded from 2000. Had this in a 9, and then later on I bought it in a 10. Oh, what did I pay for this? $400. And maybe the last card I picked up that right before the big explosion. So because it definitely it went like $3,000, some crazy number, and now it's come back down to, I don't know, whatever price puts it at 90 whatever here. It's like $1,200 or something. I don't know. I don't have all the pricing handy. Here's Jeter, 8.5. PSA 9s of this card went up as high as $25,000, I think. This one, maybe it peaked out on like around 8,000 or something like that. Now it's down between 1,000 and 2,000. On the lower end of that. This is the 8.5. Had a raw copy I bought, and I sent it into PSA many years ago. It came back with that minimum size requirement, which is so common with this card. And I wanted to have it slabbed, so I went with the 8.5. And then I later sent the card back to PSA, and it got slabbed an 8. Does not make an appearance in this countdown. Here's a sort of crappy centered Cobb glove show. I like this. This is my favorite Cobb from that set. 1.5. All my tobacco cards are going to be low grade. I think the highest grade I have is that, it's that PSA 3 Lajoie that I've already showed. So there is Cy Young glove showing. This one's tough. I don't know. So I think I have this one at like 1275-ish. But this was an October comp. Judge's cards saw a big bump, and they've come back. Self-submitted to PSA a few years ago. I bought this raw in April of 17, I think it was, right? Whenever he first came up. And I remember looking at this one and looking at the Topps Heritage, like real one, whatever, the Blue Ink Auto. This was like $40-something, and the Heritage was like $50. And I kind of liked the way this one looked better than the Heritage. Plus, it was cheaper. And, I was kind of like apprehensive about spending $40 on a guy who hadn't done anything yet on a raw card. That was just the way I thought back then. Anyway, the Heritage, I think, is the better value, but I still like the way that looks. I'm surprised it's not a 10. I don't know why it isn't. Okay, we're down to the last 5 cards here. So this will be 85. Card number 85 is this Ryan Sandberg rookie, which I self-submitted to PSA. I got this out of a vending box many years ago. Purchased from Mark Murphy when he was in Connecticut. And this was the big card I got. And yeah, I came back at 10. I knew it looked good, but geez, I didn't think I'd get 10. Certainly happy it did. And so there it sits at number 85. My other SI for kids card at the Tiger Woods, kind of a big card. Was an even bigger card a few years ago. Maybe not so much now, but I still think it's an important card. Again, not licensed, but not unlike the Serena, does have some hobby credibility. People, do pay good money for this. And this one sat in the middle of the 9-card panel, and so oftentimes you're going to see yellow bleed into this based on where the perforations are. So in this case, I got a little bit of yellow along the bottom border here. Tiger Woods, 8.5. Card number 83 is the Clemens rookie from 85 Tops. I forget what I paid for this. It certainly was a lot less than what it sells for now. Nice looking card. I do like the Tiffany's, but, you know, it's hard to find them. A lot of the Tiffany's are yellowed on the borders from age or maybe exposure to the elements, the light, whatever. I have a pocket card that's Tiffany from 85 Tops. You're not going to see it in this countdown, but even that has the yellowed borders, so it kind of takes away from the overall appeal of the card, in my opinion. I like the nice white borders here for this Clemens rookie. And number 82, another Nolan Ryan, 1970 Tops. PSA 8. Is that blurry or am I just... That's fine. And then the last card for this particular portion of the countdown is a card that has fallen dramatically. This one's, I think, sat in my top 10. Kobe Bryant, and this is a Topps Chrome 9. And now that I see it, I cannot unsee it. But they always talk about hulking, where the card turns green, like he looks green, like the Hulk. And I never noticed it until it was pointed out to me. And now I can't unsee it. But this is, you know, his rookie card and a 9, which, you know, could be had for I don't know what nowadays. I don't know. I don't have the price handy. But this is card number 81. It was once like top 10 or top 20. So how the mighty have fallen. And you see a lot of that with, especially the basketball cards. I would say that the modern market took the biggest hit when it came to basketball. But anyway, that'll wrap up the first part of this top 120 countdown. Cards 120 to 81. Next up, 41 to 80. Probably next week based on my current schedule. But stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you then.